Hi, welcome back. Now we're going to work on, in step 3, doing the waxing of our white. We've already done the first step of the egg in our second video segment of making our pencil lines so that we have guidelines for the next step. Now we're going to go on to this step. And this step is a combination of pencil and wax. So I'm going to move the camera so that it is on my hands, and we will do that step. We are now going to put a little bit of pencil on here to help us with making our star in our design. So what we're aiming for is this. And first we're going to sketch it in with pencil, and then we're going to draw it in with wax. What I do is I eyeball this. You can measure it. You could use a measuring tape and actually measure this if you wanted to. And it's not a bad idea when you first start, but I'm going to eyeball it. So I just take and I find a spot about an inch out from the center, and in the diagonal section here that I've created when we drew our lines is I just put a little dot there. And then I put a little dot here, and each section I try to put a dot that's the same distance away from the center and will be matched up here in a moment. Okay, now take a place that's about halfway in between that and make another dot like that. So now you've got these dots on the front of the egg. Now we're going to play connect the dots. Taking your pencil, draw points. Oops. Now what you've got is a star drawn on the front of your egg. All right, now we're ready to start waxing. This is where it gets fun. I showed you in the very first video where I was talking about supplies that I use the Delring Kiska when I'm going for manual. They come with different color handles, and the different color handles mean different color widths, and I always forget which is which, but I think white is fine, blue is medium, and red is heavy, if I remember correctly. We're just going to use the medium one for this particular egg. Now, I want you to be able to see what I'm doing of two things here. So we're going to move this where you can see it. And what I've got here is a candle. And I've got beeswax. You can buy this beeswax in a lot of different forms from a lot of different places, but it has to be really pure. And it's best if you just buy it from a place that specializes in Pysanky materials, then you know that you're getting the right thing. So I'm heating this Kiska tip in the candle flame. And then I'm going to scoop some wax into my funnel. Now, it's very smart when you first begin to get the hang of using this. I have a practice eggshell here. I want to make sure I'm getting good flow, and I want to be sure I'm not, going to get glops of wax. So it's a good thing to do to practice a little bit. But here's now what we do. Where our pencil lines are, we're now going to cover them with wax. So you aren't going to really be able to see the difference because the pencil lines that I made are dark, but I think you can probably see there that it's different color slightly, and it's a thicker line. I'm going to do that all the way around. Simply because it's repetitive, I'm not going to do the back side of this egg. We're only going to do the front side. And when your line stops being regular, or if it starts not flowing as nicely, then that's time to reheat it. and put some more wax in. Sometimes you can just reheat it and the wax that's in it will start flowing. See, I'm doing a little tip sort of. That's to get the wax flowing again. You have to be so careful when you do that though, because that's often a place where you can get a big glop of wax. You see, I've been able to make this whole star basically out of filling the kistka bowl just once. I have to backtrack because in the design of this egg, actually, we were supposed to have drawn the actual lines in too. So we're going to go back and do that. Doesn't matter that I didn't do them first, although that's traditionally the way that you would do it. So now we're going to go ahead and cover these original lines that we drew. Once again, I'm going to scoop a little beeswax. I would not necessarily be picking this up to do it like this, except that I want you to be able to see it on the camera. So that's why I'm doing it that way. So now let's draw these lines in. We should have done this first. So all of those lines that we originally drew, we're going to draw in and cover with wax. And I am only doing half of the egg because there's no reason to waste time doing the back. Okay, so there, that's that first vertical line. Let's do our horizontal line. There. And do the rest of the horizontal line. There. And then our diagonal lines. One, two, three, and four. Okay, so that basically is step one. We have already done step one with the pencil, and then here we are. We have just completed what's shown in the second figure on the sheet. And now we'll stop. I'm going to put it in yellow dye here while we're still on camera, and then when we come back, the egg will be yellow, and we'll go ahead with the next step. So I've got my yellow dye here, ready to roll. I have a variety of different jars that I use for my dyes. I have probably about 60 dyes. You don't need to have 60 dyes. You can get by with a lot less than that. So you put the egg in the spoon, lower it gently into the dye. These are special dyes. These are not your regular Easter egg dyes. These are real concentrated dyes. See, look how dark that is already. So I'm going to stop the camera, let this soak for a few minutes, and when we come back for the next step, we will do the green and the yellow coverage.